You know, in reality, when someone has very little background to them and slightly mysterious, it may be something to be wary of, or at least look into. But in a world like this, it could turn out to be quite deadly. Or useful, or some sort of governmental experiment. All we know is at the minute it is just a regular, slightly shy schoolgirl. Although I guess that kind of applies to a lot of things in Index. Let's just keep watching. Of course, getting introduced to your new exchange student. Oh, hang on a second. Usually people don't just wander into classrooms by themselves. But I guess hunger can do that to a person. There is really... We haven't seen Toma in school much, and the fact that he's lost his memory and obviously therefore unlearned anything that he might have picked up. But all I can really tell for almost certain is that this new girl who is Index's new best friend is probably in need of some sort of help, so Tom is going to throw himself into that. And of course there's the magician that's wandering about, which probably needs to be looked into. Oh, that's actually quite cheap. Food is a lot more expensive here. TVs. An interactive TV. At least she's entertained easily. Don't tell her you can actually play it and see how long she's going to sit there watching it. It's great that such a valuable conversation is held when they've got very little signal. I mean, well, when else is it going to happen? Instantly gets distracted by something else. Hopefully she doesn't get any ideas. Oh. It wouldn't surprise me if such services exist. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Getting roped into something like that. Oh. She can be just like her magical girl she watches. Don't go in there. Good. How? How do you accidentally rip a curtain down like that? And no one else even reacts. This is your memories of today. Yeah, life is a lot more mundane than what is shown here. Oh, that can only be good. There must be a reason he was left out. No. I think you've quite got the hang of it. Not being able to hear telepathy could be quite an issue if there's people who communicate that way. You see, that was a lot easier than trying to use your mind voice. And how used to it, like, these sorts of attacks are the citizenship here. Considering, oh no, there's some sort of attack going on. I'll slowly make my way to the exit. It would be hard to misjudge her intents, though. Oh, now you want to get out. Oh, okay. Well, she does contain a lot of magical knowledge, but can she actually hold any of that and use it for herself? It might be useful if you said what you were capable of. That poor cat. Of course, they would be here as well. Nah. She's on top of. Oh. Probably not the best way to introduce yourself. Kind of like the same way he meets everyone. Now they're pissed at him. Excuse me. She said that in almost no uncertain terms. Does she know what's going on? Has she heard that there's an attack right now in the underground mall? It would be useful to have these two along. He faced off against Accelerator. He has at least a little bit of safety for himself. Although it would be good if he could wrap his power across his entirety of his body rather than just his hand, but still. All of you get lost then. Yes, leave him alone with the question mark. That's just actual gunshots going on. I guess keeping her there instead of going towards the explosions and whatnot is a good idea, but even with a massive column in front of you, I don't think I'd be walking behind it so easily with ballistic fire incoming. Not quite how fragmentation grenades work, but okay. He's come to provide assistance. I see she has multiple roles. Such confidence. Is there going to be anything that he comes up against that is unaffected by his power? Is it good that she knows who he is? Sure, deactivating her power is one thing, but it's still a large mass of rock and steel and stuff. You wouldn't want it to fall on you. No uncertain terms. Is she actually just openly declaring war and that she's from that place, or is she trying to put the blame onto the Purist Church? This isn't really a place to have this kind of conversation. This is kind of a life and death situation. Well, fuck. So she's some sort of automaton as well. Yeah, your glasses. That's the main issue right here. So, being completely unaware of what what she is. Oh, blap. Today hasn't been all too kind for her. Was that an artifacting on the video or actually her body? Appropriate response to seeing the inside of your face. Creating a cave-in to separate yourself from unwanted guests is probably a good idea. Is there a limit to how many she can remove at once? Or does she have to be in physical contact? At least it does answer one question I had, which is like, does she need to see where she's being teleporting to? What was that background? In a way. There's quite a few questions that are being raised right now, and being seen on the not being seen on the security cameras isn't really the biggest of issues. You're talking about what? Biological organisms. Is that trying to say that the Hyoka is a being born of the collective consciousness of everyone? Might be something quite difficult to take in, I guess. That's kind of cool. Cruel. Isn't it trying to get into what constitutes being human? We've had this kind of conversation relatively recently because of the rise in AI and the potential complications that arises. Well, he got his answer. She didn't really lead him to that conclusion or answer, which is nice that he came up to it on his own accord. That is his character in a nutshell, really. Neat. Oh, and the glasses, of course. Are they just for show, or is the combined power of everyone still have poor eyesight? Yeah, any reason why you're being so unnecessarily mean? Ah, so she must be fine dying herself then. So when the tides are turned, she's only trying to inflict more fear, and that wasn't for any particular purpose other than, look how powerful I am. And her last thoughts in this moment are of her friend. Let me guess, last minute entrance. Yes. All you really needed is that sound effect. Hey there, Doma. Trying to make an entrance again. But did he have so little of a presence that the magician didn't realise? Even the golem's like, shit! What do I do? But does his hand power there deactivate the entirety of the golem? If so, then its movements are stopped and whatnot, but also, why is it still holding itself together? And right now, the plans of this magician are kind of, well, baseline evil. There's probably more under the surface, but it doesn't seem like there's too much. That puddle is floating above the ground. There isn't too much to it right now. If she couldn't be seen on cameras and isn't really human, doesn't that make Hyuka basically a more involved imaginary friend? Asking what it means to be human. It seems to me like Hyuka and others kinda like her, what we've seen in other stories, are more human than some actual biological Homo sapiens. I've always found that distinction a bit odd, though, because sure, they might not be human, but really, who cares? We don't really, well, we shouldn't really treat things differently based on that fact alone. Just like life, people and situations are a lot more nuanced than just arbitrary categories. Or maybe I'm the only one that thinks like that. And that magician must have a lot of faith in either her magic or her golem to be smashing the walls and causing cave-ins, especially while doing it all underground. I wouldn't really want to be anywhere near it just in case something went wrong. But we knew something very bad was going to happen, considering that the last episode was her making friends and everyone being so nice to her, and now she went on a day out to the arcade and photo booths. It was only ever going to go poorly. Which means I'm expecting something quite drastic in the next episode or two. One that may take a little recovery. There hasn't really been a story so far that hasn't had some sort of sacrifice. Be it your memories, your family home, a bullet to the brain. What will this one be? The only way to really find out is to continue watching. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know. Leave a like and a comment, subscribe for more, maybe join my Discord, whatever you want. But right now, get yourself some rest. You can dress up as a magical girl if you want to, I'm not going to judge. But I'll see you for the next one. Whether you yourself are a human or a shared collective consciousness who managed to somehow gain access to the internet, I really do thank you for making it at least this far into the video. If you'd like to help out the channel and keep it running a bit longer, then join on to my Patreon. You can be much like Sal, Raywin, Electric Ant, Dynamite 1997, Shiran, Jennifer Rojas, Mecha, Stinsfire, Big Boy, Dark Shadow, 7899, Mats, and everyone else. Because even though I am less than human, they've accepted me anyway.